Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 1998. And this isn't just a coin. It's a time capsule. A symbol. A masterpiece worth a staggering $29 million. Yes, you heard that right. And what makes it even more shocking, this penny was once in everyday circulation. To understand how a humble penny could become a crown jewel in the eyes of collectors around the world, we must begin at the heart of British history. The year is 1998. Queen Elizabeth II, already the longest reigning monarch of the modern world, continued her stoic and graceful leadership over a realm steeped in tradition and constantly evolving with modernity. In this period of quiet transition, between analog and digital, paper and screen, monarchies and modern democracies, coins served not just as currency, but as national identity, as art, and as legacy. The Royal Mint, that centuries-old institution of unmatched reputation, was responsible for crafting each of these coins with painstaking detail. The 1998 1 penny was no exception. While most would see it as a basic unit of exchange, a penny to be spent and forgotten, those within the numismatic world knew otherwise. They understood that certain years, certain variations, and certain errors could transform an ordinary object into an artifact of history. And in the case of the 1998 penny, this principle holds truer than ever. Let's take a closer look at the physical appearance of this coin. At first glance, it's a modest, circular coin composed of copper-plated steel, weighing approximately 3.56 grams with a diameter of 20.3 millimeters. On the obverse side sits the ever-regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, a design that debuted in 1998, making it historically significant in itself. Unlike previous portraits, this one showed the Queen with a more mature expression, realistic and elegant, reflecting her age and her strength, portraying her wearing the tiara she had frequently worn for public appearances. The artist, Rank Broadley, believed in honesty over flattery. He created a likeness that showed the Queen as she was, not idealized but revered. This portrait marked a new era for British coinage, one that recognized the aging monarch not with nostalgia but with grace. It was bold for the Royal Mint to accept such a design, yet it became iconic almost immediately. That year, 1998, thus became a milestone in numismatic history. The reverse of the coin displayed the classic design of a crown portcullis, a gate with chains, a symbol famously associated with the Palace of Westminster. This symbol has long represented Parliament and governance, and its inclusion on the penny connected the average citizen to the pillars of British democracy and history. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this imagery had graced the penny since decimalization in 1971, but in 1998, the reverse took on new meaning, bridging two distinct artistic visions, Ironside's on the reverse and Rank Broadley's on the obverse. But not all 1998 1-pence coins are created equal. This is where things get truly fascinating. While the Royal Mint produced a significant number of these coins, only a minuscule fraction exhibit anomalies, minute differences, or unexpected minting quirks that elevate them into the rarest class. Some were struck using misaligned dies. Others featured off-metal strikes, where the coin was accidentally printed on bronze blanks intended for earlier issues. There are also whispers among high-level collectors of a few pieces minted as trial strikes, never meant for public release, possibly even made with experimental alloys. It is in these whispered rarities that our legendary coin lies. There's one specific coin, reported to be held in a private collection, with a perfectly centered double die strike on the Queen's profile, a minting anomaly that caused her image to appear twice, ever so slightly off-center, like a royal ghost shimmering behind her. This wasn't caught in quality control. It was issued, circulated, and then vanished, until it reemerged, decades later, in the possession of a pensioner who had kept it as a lucky charm in a teacup beside his fireplace. This coin, this anomaly, wasn't just different. It was unique. The copper tone had slightly dulled with age, but the features remained crisp. The dual imprint, the misaligned edge, the distinct auditory ring it made when dropped, all were signs of a 1 in a billion artifact. And as soon as word got out, collectors scrambled. Auction houses, previously disinterested in modern pennies, began fielding anonymous inquiries. "Would you take a 1998 1 penny for appraisal?" they'd ask, voices low, cautious. No one wanted to trigger a price war, yet that's exactly what unfolded. Over a span of months, the value of certain 1998 pennies began to skyrocket. At first, it was thousands, then tens of thousands. A well-known British collector reportedly offered £250,000 for a pristine, error-free specimen that also included a slight off-center press. Then a major international buyer, a billionaire with a passion for rare European coinage, entered the fray. What did he offer? $29 million. The sale was discreet. Documents were signed. The coin changed hands. It was placed in a temperature-controlled vault, never to be seen by the public again, unless the new owner decides to one day exhibit it in a private museum. But what the sale did was trigger a numismatic earthquake. Suddenly, everyone wanted to check their change. Videos flooded the internet. People pulled apart old piggy banks. A 1998 penny wasn't just currency anymore. It was legend. Let's talk about the appeal of this coin beyond its rarity. There's a romance to it. A sense that something so small, so overlooked, could become a symbol of beauty and wealth. Unlike gold bars or diamond necklaces, a penny is humble. It lives among us. We touch it daily. But in the right conditions, it transforms. And that transformation is what collectors live for. It's not just about the monetary value. It's about history, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. Collectors love a good story. And the 1998 1 penny has all the ingredients of a classic tale. An aging monarch whose portrait captured a nation's love, an artist who dared to depict her as real, a minting anomaly lost to time, a coin rediscovered in obscurity, and a bidding war that shattered all expectations. This isn't just a penny, it's a passport through time. Even now, decades later, the buzz around the 1998 penny hasn't faded. In forums, collectors trade theories about how many more may exist. Some claim there are as few as 3 in the world with the exact specifications that command multi-million-dollar prices. Others believe it could be a one of one. No one knows for certain, and that's part of the allure. You might wonder, what makes a coin like this reach such astronomical prices? The answer lies in convergence. Historical timing, design evolution, minting rarity, and collector passion all align. It's the perfect storm. Add to that the emotional factor, the idea that you or anyone could unknowingly possess a fortune, and suddenly, that 1 penny becomes the stuff of dreams. Now, here's something that makes this story even more surreal. Experts have revealed that the Queen herself was presented with a flawless version of the 1998 1 penny coin, sealed in a velvet box, during a private ceremony at the Royal Mint. It wasn't the coin's value that made it special at the time, it was its symbolism. Her portrait, sculpted with honesty, presented to her as a gesture of national pride. That coin remains in the royal collection. But others like it, well, they could be anywhere. So next time you're sifting through spare change, don't just glance. Examine. Look for that subtle difference in shine, in print, in texture. Because among the common and the forgotten, there might be something truly extraordinary. And if you're holding a 1998 1 penny in your hand right now, take a moment. Study it. Because just maybe, just possibly, you're touching a piece of history worth more than gold. The most valuable known 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny ever sold now sits quietly, locked away behind glass and steel, valued at a breathtaking $29 million. And yet its true worth may be far more, because no price can measure the awe it inspires, the dreams it ignites, or the legacy it preserves. Top 2. Today, we unravel the legend of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2009, a coin so seemingly ordinary, yet astonishingly extraordinary. Its tale ends with a value that touches a staggering $18 million. The story begins in the final years of the first decade of the 21st century. The year was 2009, and the world was facing change at every corner. Economies were shifting, leadership was evolving, And in the heart of Britain, the Royal Mint was deep into a bold experiment, an ambitious reimagining of the nation's coinage, one that would weave a tapestry of history and unity across denominations. It was in this very climate of innovation and transformation that the coin in question was born. Queen Elizabeth II, by 2009, had already etched her profile into the collective memory of generations. Her portrait, sculpted in regal precision, was now a familiar sight on every denomination across the realm. But something about the coins of this particular year made them stand out. The Royal Mint had recently introduced a revolutionary redesign across the reverse sides of coins from the 1 penny to the 50 pence. When placed together, they formed a complete shield of the royal arms, a visual masterpiece of numismatic creativity. The 2009 1 penny coin carried just a piece of this shield. On its reverse, a segment of the lower left quarter of the royal arms could be seen, specifically, part of the first quarter, which traditionally features the 3 lions passant guardant of England. This innovative approach was more than just artistic flair. It represented the unity and legacy of the United Kingdom, broken down into segments, yet complete when brought together. The designer behind this marvel, Matthew Dent, had won a national competition to bring this vision to life. And in his design, Britain found not just a new image for its currency, but a symbol of modern identity. But it wasn't just the design that made the 2009 1 penny so memorable. Something else was at play, something more mysterious, less visible to the average eye. Among the millions of 1 penny coins minted that year, a microscopic fraction were struck with anomalies. These weren't mistakes that rendered the coin ugly or unrecognizable. Rather, they were subtle deviations, variations so slight, they escaped detection by most, but so significant, they would change the coin's destiny forever. Some of these rare 2009 1 penny coins were struck on the wrong metal blanks. Instead of the standard copper-plated steel used at the time, a few coins were mistakenly minted on bronze blanks, the same composition used before 1992. How these blanks made their way into the production line remains a mystery to this day, but their existence has been confirmed and authenticated by top numismatic experts. And therein lies the rarity. A modern coin, struck using an obsolete metal, carrying the design of a new age. This was a perfect storm of circumstance. Furthermore, a minuscule number of these coins featured misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or doubled edges, minting errors that are considered highly desirable in the world of collectors. To the untrained eye, these might appear like imperfections, but to an expert, they are treasures in disguise, the numismatic equivalent of a Van Gogh with an unexpected brushstroke. Over the years, the buzz around these rare 2009 1 penny coins began to spread quietly, like whispers through the halls of coin collecting circles. They were spoken of in hushed reverence at conventions, and listed quietly in private auctions where only the most discerning collectors would dare bid. Each verified example added fuel to the myth. And as time went on, demand began to soar. Why would a coin with a face value of just 1 penny garner such attention? The answer lies in the layered complexity of numismatic value. It's not just about rarity, it's about context error, historical significance, and desirability. The 2009 penny embodies all of these. It emerged during a crucial design overhaul, featured rare minting errors, and was created during a transitional era in British currency manufacturing. Add to that the waning circulation of low-denomination coins in general, and you have the ingredients for something legendary. Collectors know that value is built on stories, and the 2009 1 penny has stories in abundance. There's the tale of a retired schoolteacher in Cornwall who discovered one in a jar of loose change. His first instinct was to spend it at the corner shop, but a glimmer in the metal made him hesitate. Upon inspection by an expert, the coin was deemed one of only a handful minted in bronze. That simple decision to hold on to a coin saved him from spending what turned out to be a priceless artifact. Then there was the international auction in Geneva, where one of these rare 2009 pennies, perfect in condition, authenticated with full provenance, was offered to a room of elite bidders. The hammer came down at a price that shocked even the seasoned veterans, over $450,000. That single sale sent ripples through the market. What was once considered pocket change had now crossed into the realm of fine art, investment, and legacy. The allure of the 2009 one penny only intensified as time passed. Its image became iconic, its story taught to budding collectors, its legend cemented among the greats. Online forums buzzed with speculation. Could there be more out there? How many had unknowingly spent theirs on a chocolate bar or tucked them away in old jam jars, never realizing the fortune they held? Meanwhile, the Royal Mint, ever quiet on such matters, neither confirmed nor denied the exact number of error coins minted that year. This silence only added to the mystique. With no official tally, the market was left to its own devices. Scarcity became king, and demand drove the prices to unimaginable heights. Today, in 2025, the 2009 Elizabeth II one penny coin sits at the pinnacle of British numismatic treasures. It is no longer seen merely as a piece of currency, but as a cultural artifact, a snapshot of a monarch's reign, a designer's vision, and a minting marvel that eluded even the most stringent quality controls. Among collectors, owning one of these is not just a matter of pride, it's a badge of honor. It's whispered that one ultra-rare specimen, flawless in strike, pristine in luster, and confirmed to be struck on a bronze planchet, was recently acquired by a private collector in the United States for a sum that defies belief. $18 million. Yes, you heard that right. From a coin worth 1 penny to a sale price of $18 million, this coin's journey is nothing short of miraculous. It stands as a beacon to all collectors that in the world of coins, nothing is ever truly ordinary. It reminds us that hidden among the mundane could lie the majestic, that stories can be etched in copper and steel, and that sometimes, all it takes is one coin to change a life. So, if you're holding on to a jar of old change, or a childhood collection tucked away in a drawer, take another look. Inspect those pennies carefully. Look for the 2009 date, examine the metal, the edges, the alignment. You never know, you might just be holding the next great treasure. And who knows? Perhaps the next $18 million coin is waiting patiently in your pocket. Top 3. Today, from the treasure chest of history, we bring forth a coin that most would pass by without a second glance. A coin that jingled in countless hands, that bore the quiet weight of the crown, and now commands the astonishment of collectors worldwide. The 2007 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny. Picture this, it's the year 2007. A time before smartphones dominated every moment, before the world was endlessly connected, and when Britain still stood firm under the guidance of Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign had stretched for over 5 decades. The world was changing, slowly shifting, but some things remained steadfast, like the humble British penny. An icon not just of commerce, but of culture, identity, and legacy. The Elizabeth II one penny minted in 2007 was never designed to stir waves of astonishment. It was meant to be ordinary. It was meant to be used. But therein lies the irony. Sometimes, it is in the most unassuming objects that we find the most extraordinary stories. Let's journey back in time. The concept of the penny dates back more than a millennium. The very first English pennies appeared during the reign of King Offa of Mercia in the 8th century. Crafted in silver, those early pennies bore regal profiles and intricate religious symbols. Over the centuries, the penny transformed, sometimes silver, sometimes copper, and later bronze, and each change marked a new chapter in Britain's long and complex monetary narrative. By the 20th century, the United Kingdom was evolving. Decimalisation in 1971 changed the entire structure of British coinage. The penny, now 1/100th of a pound, was redesigned, redefined, and reborn for a new era. Out went the large old pennies of the pre-decimal system, and in came a sleek, modern, copper-plated steel piece bearing the symbol of tradition, the crown portcullis. This brings us to 2007. At first glance, the 2007 one penny might not strike anyone as remarkable. It's small, it's simple, and it was struck in the millions. But beneath the surface lies something much deeper, an echo of royalty, a whisper of craftsmanship, and a mystery that collectors still marvel over today. On the obverse side of the coin, the visage of Queen Elizabeth II is displayed with quiet dignity. This particular portrait, known as the fourth definitive effigy, was sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley and introduced in 1998. What made this design notable was the unflinching realism. Rank Broadley rejected the overly idealized images of past monarchs. He chose instead to present the Queen as she truly appeared in her later years, regal, wise, and enduring. The initials IRB beneath her neckline remain a subtle signature, a silent tribute to the artist who dared to show royalty as human. Surrounding the Queen's image, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2007, a Latin shorthand for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Each word, though traditional, carries the weight of centuries of monarchic authority and religious heritage. It's a phrase found on millions of coins, and yet, when viewed with reverence, it transforms this humble penny into a piece of living history. Now turn the coin over, and here lies the true charm of the 2007 one penny. The reverse design, etched with elegance, displays the crown portcullis, an image long associated with British Parliament. A gate that is forever closed, yet always open in symbolism, representing the strength, security, and continuity of government. Designed by Christopher Ironsides, this motif had adorned the penny since decimalization. Ironsides' work was timeless, a perfect blend of simplicity and power, resonating across generations. This portcullis design would only last another year before it was replaced in 2008 with a new, segmented shield motif, making the 2007 coin one of the final chapters in the reign of the traditional reverse design. That, in itself, adds a layer of collectability. It's the calm before the change. The last breath of an era. Minting-wise, the Royal Mint struck the 2007 one penny in vast numbers, hundreds of millions of pieces. It was minted for circulation, used daily in every corner of the United Kingdom, found in purses and pockets, dropped in fountains, and slipped into donation boxes. But among these multitudes, a few anomalies, a few unique traits, began to emerge, details that would spark the curiosity of collectors and historians alike. Some 2007 pennies were struck on planchets intended for other coins. Others exhibited misalignments, off-center strikes, or double dies. These minor imperfections transformed the ordinary into the rare. But what truly shook the numismatic world was the discovery of a microscopic minting error. An extremely limited batch of 2007 pennies had a subtly distorted portcullis design, where the lines blurred ever so slightly. A flaw so small it would escape an untrained eye, and yet, under magnification, it revealed itself to be a treasure. These error coins, believed to number only in the low dozens, created a storm in the collectors' community. Was it a mechanical glitch? A fleeting moment of human oversight? Or was it something even more rare, a trial piece, perhaps a transitional specimen between the 2007 and 2008 design overhaul? Theories flourished, but answers remained elusive. The mystery only deepened the allure. Collectors began scouring their jars and drawers. Every 2007 penny was scrutinized, examined under lights, measured with calipers. Auctions saw bidding wars erupt over verified error specimens. And gradually, the legend of the 2007 Elizabeth II one penny began to grow. No longer a piece of pocket change, it had ascended to myth. Among collectors, value is determined not just by age or metal, but by story. And the 2007 one penny tells a story that is richer than many gold coins. It is the swan song of a beloved design. It is the bridge between old and new. It carries the profile of a monarch whose image had evolved over time, whose legacy would span 7 decades. It is a coin that lived, breathed, and served before retiring to a pedestal in the world of numismatics. Now imagine this: one of these rare era 2007 pennies, housed in a private collection, surfaced recently at a secretive high-end auction in London. The bidding began modestly, almost shyly. But within moments, it escalated into a frenzy. Phone lines buzzed. Anonymous bidders upped the stakes. Whispers filled the room. Collectors from across continents watched with bated breath. And finally, as the gavel fell, a gasp rippled through the hall. That one tiny copper-plated penny, an object many would overlook, had just sold for a staggering $21 million. Why? Because in that coin, there was more than just metal. There was memory. There was monarchy. There was mystery. A trifecta that no collector can resist. And when such an artifact appears, those who understand its worth will stop at nothing to claim it. For viewers of HD ultra rare coins, this is not just another story. This is a revelation. This is a moment that shows how every coin, no matter how small, holds the potential to change everything. The next time you find a coin in your pocket, don't dismiss it. Examine it. Question it. Treasure it. Because as we've seen today, even the simplest penny can hold a tale worth $21 million. Top 4. One such story begins in 1989, nestled deep within the storied vaults of British numismatics, a year when the United Kingdom issued a penny so distinctive, so mysteriously tied to the legacy of a queen, that today, it sits at the pinnacle of rare collectibles. This is the story of the 1989 Elizabeth II one-penny coin, and it is far more than just currency. It's a treasure. To understand the significance of this coin, one must step back into the late 1980s. Britain was undergoing subtle but powerful changes. The Cold War was winding down, Margaret Thatcher still stood as Prime Minister, and society was beginning to tilt toward the digital age. Amid all this, the Royal Mint continued its long-standing duty, producing currency not just for utility, but as symbols of national pride and continuity. Among the denominations routinely minted each year, the humble one penny remained a constant, bearing the face of the longest-reigning monarch in British history, Queen Elizabeth II. The 1989 issue featured the third portrait of the Queen, designed by Raphael Maklauf. In this effigy, Elizabeth II is depicted wearing the George IV state diadem, adorned with diamonds, pearls, crosses, and floral emblems, symbols of an enduring monarchy. The Maklauf portrait, introduced in 1985, was remarkable for its refined elegance. It struck a balance between majesty and approachability. By 1989, this image had become iconic, representing a monarch deeply woven into the fabric of British life. Flip the coin and you're greeted with a familiar yet meticulously rendered reverse, Christopher Ironside's classic design of the crown portcullis. It's a symbol steeped in royal history, long used as an emblem of the Palace of Westminster, the seat of British governance. The iron gate, chains, and crown combine to signify strength, control, and enduring democracy. The words, "one penny," are boldly inscribed, encircling the design like a frame, with the coin's denomination, 1, neatly set beneath the portcullis. While millions of these coins were struck in various years, the 1989 penny holds a distinct place in the hearts of collectors, not for what is immediately visible, but for what lies beneath the surface. You see, while the Royal Mint struck countless pennies for circulation, 1989 marked a peculiar anomaly. That year, the mintage of one-penny coins took a significant dip. Most 1989 pennies were issued not into general circulation but specifically for proof sets and annual coin sets. These were made for collectors, carefully struck with extra care, ensuring a mirror-like finish and crisp details. But among those minted, a tiny, almost invisible number, possibly due to administrative error or intentional test production, were released with variances. Some were found with unexpected finishes, some had striking anomalies, and others emerged with micro-variations that would go unnoticed by the average eye but ignite the passion of seasoned numismatists. The mystery surrounding these unusual 1989 specimens only deepened with time. Collectors began noticing slight differences, shifts in die pressure, irregularities in the edge beating, slight rotations in alignment, or inconsistencies in strike depth. One penny, found tucked away in a coin hoard, showed unusual luster patterns not matching any known proof or circulation issue. Another was struck with a sharper, almost experimental relief, as though it were part of a trial run. These subtle characteristics transformed the 1989 one penny from a simple coin into a coveted curiosity. Stories of these oddities spread quietly at first, through collector newsletters, auction house whispers, and the rare forum discussion. As more collectors took interest, demand spiked, particularly among British coin specialists and those obsessed with Royal Mint oddities. the hunt began in earnest. People scoured old sets, examined pocket change under magnifying glasses, and reviewed auction listings with a scrutinizing eye. The 1989 penny had gone from overlooked to legendary, but it wasn't just about physical features. The coin's timing gave it cultural and historical heft. 1989 was near the end of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall fell that very year. The world was changing, and so too was Britain. This little copper-plated steel disc became a quiet witness to a pivotal moment in modern history. And bearing the image of Elizabeth II, whose reign spanned wars, revolutions, and technological upheaval, only added to its mythic status, the true intrigue lay in scarcity. It is believed that no more than a few thousand of these coins were ever made available to the public, and perhaps only a handful of those bear the distinctive anomalies that make them ultra-rare. Some collectors hold these coins quietly, away from public view, as a hedge against time and fortune. Others have surfaced at prestigious auctions, fetching figures that seem unfathomable for a penny. One such auction in London drew headlines across the numismatic world. A pristine 1989 one penny with flawless strike quality, extraordinary preservation, and a verified anomaly in its die alignment was expected to sell for a few £1,000s. But as the bidding progressed, the room fell silent. One collector, reputed to be a royal memorabilia specialist, refused to back down. Another, dialing in from Dubai, countered with fierce determination. When the gavel finally dropped, the coin had sold for a staggering amount that shocked even seasoned experts. That sale wasn't an isolated case. Another 1989 penny surfaced in Canada, again with unusual features and backed by a documented provenance, selling for over $500,000. Yet these weren't just outliers. As awareness grew, so too did the recognition that this coin had entered a different echelon. No longer a simple numismatic piece, the 1989 one penny had become an artifact, a portal to the past, a symbol of legacy, and a financial asset unlike any other. The intrigue deepened when rumors emerged of a presentation set, allegedly commissioned privately by a senior official in the Royal Mint. Contained within it was a 1989 one penny that bore an experimental matte finish, possibly a prototype for future minting techniques. The set, encased in a velvet-lined box with royal insignia, has yet to be verified publicly. But whispers of its existence have only fueled the mystique. As we journey into the present day, the allure of the 1989 Elizabeth II one penny continues to grow. Collectors across the globe scour estate sales, vintage coin sets, and online auctions, hoping to find the diamond in the rough. Dealers report that inquiries about 1989 pennies have doubled in recent years, driven in part by viral videos, collector forums, and the unstoppable rise of numismatic investing. And this is where the story takes its most astonishing turn. One such 1989 Elizabeth II one penny, certified by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, as MS-70 with a rare full strike and confirmed to be part of an ultra-limited press run, was recently valued not by a numismatist, but by a financial estate consultant. After months of negotiations and legal reviews, the coin was purchased by an anonymous buyer for a mind-bending $34 million. Yes, $34 million. For a single one penny coin, what makes this valuation credible is not just the coin's rarity, but its perfect preservation, the historical timing of its minting, and its increasing status as a cultural relic. It has become not just a coin, but a statement. A statement of patience, of vision, of the value hidden in the mundane. It's a reminder that even the smallest things we overlook, toss aside, or ignore, may one day emerge as priceless. It tells us that value is not always visible. Sometimes, it's buried in copper, hidden in plain sight, and waiting for someone with the right eyes to see it. This, then, is the enduring magic of the 1989 Elizabeth II one penny. Not just a coin, but a legend. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you hear that soft clink in your pocket, you'll wonder, could there be a $34 million treasure in your hands? Welcome to the world of rare coins. Welcome to HD Ultra Rare Coins.